Big news to report. Vice President Kamala Harris has raised over $126 million already since becoming the presumptive Democratic nominee, and it is driving Donald Trump absolutely crazy. I'm going to show you Trump's posts in just a moment. Of this $126 million raised, over 1.4 million come from grassroots donors since Sunday, and over 100,000 new volunteer signups are taking place. Now, what are the MAGA surrogates and influencers doing? Well, they are attacking Taylor Swift, And let me show you what Donald Trump is doing. Here's the email that Donald Trump sent yesterday. I'm on his listserv, so you don't have to be. Here's what he's saying, though, to his followers, because I want you to take a look at the violent, weird, deranged, unhinged language that he uses. He goes, "Crooked Kamala funnels in millions. The deep state donors are back." Then it goes, "Confidential memo from Donald Trump. Swamp creatures are funneling in millions for Kamala." Swamp creatures? Over $140 million for Kamila, spelled Commiela. "I'm now facing a crucial fundraising goal at the end of this week, and I have to keep crushing those deep state numbers. Stand with Trump." That's the language. Swamp creatures, crushing deep state numbers, Kamila. I mean, folks, this is some violent, dangerous, and bizarre rhetoric. Then, of course, you've got Donald Trump. He went and did that event out in Charlotte, North Carolina, where he just started making like weird noises in front of the crowd. Here, play the clip.
And she goes, Olympic tryouts. Mom and dad are in the front. And I hate to do it. You know, my wife says it's so unpresidential when you do that. Can you believe it? So I'm embarrassed. I used to give it a big push, but now I'm embarrassed. You know, I know I'm embarrassed to do it. She said, "Darling, your speech was wonderful, but please do stop with the weightlifting and the swimming. It's so unpresidential." You know, she's a class act. But I said, but people like it. People like it.
And I'll just show it to you and one more time. Play it.
Yeah, turn off your cameras for a second, okay? Boy, that's a lot of cameras. Man. No, they get it up and they can't quit doing it. Mom, I'm sorry, Mom.
Different clips right there, by the way. And then Donald Trump says, "And why are they trying to make this race about the prosecutor versus the felon?" Here, play this clip.
So think of it. They get me to that position, and then their campaign says, "I'm the prosecutor, and he is the convicted felon." That's their campaign. I don't think people are going to buy it.
Then Donald Trump accuses Vice President Kamala Harris of committing crimes and says she shouldn't run for office because of her crimes. You're a convicted felon, Donald Trump. You were found liable for sexual assault. You're on tape bragging about sexually assaulting women. You're on tape bragging that you used beauty pageants as a way to inspect without consent naked girls who participated in the beauty pageants. You've stated that Jeffrey Epstein was a friend of yours, a great guy you called Epstein, and you said that he likes women on the younger side. By the way, it's girls who he trafficked, and he found those girls at places like Mar-a-Lago, like Virginia Giuffre, who Ghislaine Maxwell found working at Mar-a-Lago, brought her to Epstein, who he then trafficked. You, sir, are a absolute sick individual. And so here's what Donald Trump says, though. Here, play this clip.
Kamala's deadly destruction of America's borders is completely and totally disqualifying. She shouldn't even be allowed to run for president. What she's done, she's committing crimes.
And then here's another clip of Donald Trump seemingly talking about himself here. Play this clip.
Occupy the White House times 10. There's never been a lunatic like this in the White House. And we've had some bad ones.
And of course, he has to talk more about Hannibal Lecter. Just bizarre. Here, play the clip.
Prisons and jails, mental institutions, and insane asylums. You know, they go crazy when I say the late, great Hannibal Lecter. Okay, they say, why would he mention Hannibal Lecter? He must be cognitively in trouble. No, these are real stories. Hannibal Lecter from Silence of the Lamb. He's a lovely man. He wants to have you for dinner. He'd like to have you for dinner.
Have you heard that the flavored air category is quickly becoming the leading alternative to vaping and smoking? It's a whole new movement towards better habits, led by the sponsor of this video, Fume. Fume is an award-winning flavored air device. Flavored air isn't like vaping. If vapor was compared to sticky soda, Fume cores are closer to herbal teas. Fume has lots of delicious flavors to choose from, like crisp mint and orange vanilla. With flavored air, you can satisfy your oral fixation through a passive diffusion system that utilizes no electronics, vapor, or combustion. Fume draws flavor to your mouth. Fume fills the void ditching a bad habit can leave. You still have something to reach for. Fume is not a vape. There's no vapor, and you could use it anywhere. There's no nicotine. It's not addictive. The non-toxic flavors are a guilt-free alternative. Fume doesn't use any batteries, so you'll never need to charge it. The design is super sleek. It looks awesome, and you can truly feel the weighted, high-quality design. One of the things about Fume is that it's made to fidget with, and it calms anxiety with magnets, snaps, and clicks. Fume continuously invests in third-party studies to ensure the safety of their products. Fume is also backed by doctors in the United States. My favorite Fume flavor is crisp mint. It is honestly delicious, and I couldn't recommend this more for anyone trying to quit their bad habit. Fume has served over 300,000 customers, and you can be the next success story. For a limited time, use my code MEIDAS, MEIDAS, to get a free gift with your journey pack. So head to tryfume.com. That's TRYFUM.com. Tryfume.com. Use code MEIDAS or scan the QR code on screen to get a free gift with your order today. Take a look at the post that Donald Trump's making as well. He then posts this racist meme right here. This was a racist meme that Laura Loomer previously posted. So Trump is taking posts from Laura Loomer, and here's what Laura Loomer said. I don't want to even read this stuff. And then Trump reposted that unhinged racist attack on Vice President Kamala Harris. And Trump is taking memes from one of his top surrogates. I can't even, I will put up what it is that Laura Loomer said, but I don't even want to say the words because they're so heinous and vile. But this is who the MAGA movement is. Just take a look at these posts that Donald Trump made. I'm not even going to read them yet. Just if we can, Salty, flash these posts that he made. Post. And he's posting throughout the day as he's lashing out, having temper tantrum. A weird post of him on like a golf course, on a golf cart. Here he's saying the gag order look how he spells these things. The gag order unconstitutionally placed on me is interfering with my campaign against Lion Kamala Harris. This is a first in American history. A highly conflicted, what are you even talking about at this point? Highly conflicted Democrat judge putting a gag order on the leading candidate. Wow. I mean, just whiny. I watched the congressional hearing today as Christopher Wray was as Donald Trump's FBI director. Trump appointed Christopher Wray, a Republican, to be an FBI director. And Donald Trump continues to attack the FBI director, Christopher Wray. And he goes, I watched them ask Christopher Wray whether he noticed any cognitive degeneration in his many conversations with crooked Joe Biden. And despite the fact that Special Counsel Robert Hur said effectively Joe Biden is incompetent in caps with little memory, Wray said that, quote, it is not something I observed during my interactions with him, which were uneventful and unremarkable, essentially stating that he found nothing wrong mentally or physically with Joe. You mean President Biden? If that is the case, Director Wray should resign immediately from the FBI and stop sweet talking. You appointed him. Christopher Wray is the FBI director who you appointed. And then it's just more posts like this by Donald Trump. I got out of my document case by winning against the full force and power of the U.S. Department of Justice, whereas Biden got out of his document case by being called incompetent. No, President Biden was forthcoming. He allowed the FBI to look in his property, and they found that no crimes were committed. You, sir, obstructed justice, but the judge that you appointed, the corrupt Judge Eileen Cannon, found that the special counsel's office, the special counsel, is an unlawful position when she went against decades and decades of precedent, but said that the special counsel is only unlawful in the prosecution of Donald Trump. all of the other special counsels that were used by Bill Barr, other Republican administrations, Democratic administrations, yeah, all of those were fine. But that's why she will get overturned by the 11th Circuit. And isn't it interesting for Donald Trump, someone who whines about the weaponization of government, that the people who were actually prosecuted and going to jail are a Democratic senator from New Jersey, Bob Menendez, and President Biden's son, Hunter Biden. They were prosecuted. Their convictions weren't reversed or overturned, or they don't get immunity. But in Donald Trump's cases, he appoints the judges who have found that basically the foundation of our Constitution, that no one is above the law, no longer applies to grant absolute immunity. And then you had a judge you appointed in Florida make some bizarre ruling that there's no such thing as special counsels allowed under the United States Constitution. I mean, it's just so utterly ridiculous. And, you just compare the language of what Donald Trump is saying to Kamala Harris. And look, no wonder people like Olivia Rodrigo are now endorsing Kamala Harris. And look, one of the great things here is that people are paying attention to Donald Trump now. They're focused on his words. And before, the corporate media was bringing the conversations elsewhere, we'll just say. But by the way, just take a look at Donald Trump's own vice presidential candidate, J.D. Vance, who, by the way, is now, he has to put it this way. It's not going great for your presidential campaign where your VP candidate has to come out with statements denying that he has sex with his couches. And so J.D. Vance and Snopes said, fact check, not true. He's not doing that. If you go and read the hillbilly elegy that he wrote, though, he's not even like a hillbilly. Like, he's from the suburbs of Ohio. He went to Silicon Valley, where he worked in big tech, and then started a fraud charity back in Ohio that didn't do any work at all for actual people who suffered from opioid addiction, which was the purported purpose. But he changed his whole identity. I mean, like his look, he grew a beard, he changed everything. Here's what he said about Donald Trump, though, a few years ago. This is Trump's VP. Here's what he said about Trump. Play that.
I think what Trump is not just doing, I mean, certainly he's exploiting some of the racism that's there, but he's also exploiting people's fears and pointing it in a direction that maybe they wouldn't go on their own. So I think it's both that Trump is drawing on something, but more importantly, I think that he's leading people in a very dark direction, and that's ultimately what worries me the most.
And look, Donald Trump is terrified about the energy and momentum around Vice President Kamala Harris. Just take a look at a speech that she gave today. Here, play this clip.
He intends to give tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations and make working families foot the bill. They intend to end the Affordable Care Act and take us back then to a time when insurance companies had the power to deny people with pre-existing conditions. Remember what that was like? Children with asthma, women who survived breast cancer, grandparents with diabetes. America has tried these failed economic policies before, but we are not going back. We are not going back. Not going back. We're not going back. We are not going back.
Anyway, let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 3 million together. Thanks for watching. I think we'll hit 3 million next month. But make sure you hit subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.